gana action. Niba ushaka kwiga indimi gana action. Ushaka kuba umusirimu gana action. Iterambere mama gana action. Niri gusiga nyabuna gana action. Perimina provisoire gana action. Ubabivuze ukuri ko gana action. Intamenyirira ku muziro gana action. Nawe ntucikwe gana action. Va ku giti dore ishuri.
Very good. For this time, we're going to start with first event. Of course, it's a debate session. And as I said, you've already given the motions on which you're going to debate. I'm sure that this is an important and timely event to happen here, either for the college and for you, as it is your opportunity to be experiencing yourself. And you know that here, Action College is there working for you just to share skills. But of course, our basis is always languages. So this is your time to show up yourself, right? Try to show off. And I'd like to take this opportunity to give another welcome to everybody. And I can see our audience is also ready. Maybe you have their own time. And here is the proposition team. We chose that motion. Is the living in Africa better than living abroad? And here we have the opposition team. Are you? Okay, then we're going to get started. And of course, the one who will be given the podium, the stage to speak, will start off expressing themselves. Of course, start with your name and then give out your point. You understand? So, I cannot say that you are very experienced with this. I'm not sure, but at least we try to coordinate this so that it gets to be well as it is organized in advance, right? So, without going further or delaying, wasting our time, I'm going to give to welcome the first speaker from the proposition team to raise your point.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you, opposer side and proposer side and audience. Thank you to give me opportunity to introduce myself and my groups. The motion said that living in Africa is better than river bond. Yeah, I'm agree with this emotion because we have many benefits to live in Africa. Thank you very much.
Living in Africa is better than living abroad. But you didn't just express yourself. How is it good? You really just tell us the definition only. So tell us, how is Africa, living in Africa is better than living abroad? Thank you.
Thank you very much, my colleagues. To live in Africa is better than to live in another country. Okay, we have many things just according to the security, good climate, and health. You know, when you live in Africa, we have enough security according to the another country. For example, Russia and another country near the Russia always like to fighting. Okay? Yeah, Russia and Ukraine. You know it? It means to live in Africa, have enough security.
You really tell us that in those European countries or those other countries who are not on the Africa continent is where we find those kind of conflict and wars. But in Africa, we really know that in Africa is where every time, like you really say like Ukraine and Russia, there is a war. But there was many times ago where you can't even hear something like conflict in those countries. But in Africa, every time, like an example, look at this war in Congo. like M23 and FRDC. And I think that that conflict has raised like many years ago. So how can you just tell us that Africa there is security, even though you just say that you give us one example of Ukraine and Russia, but we can just give you many examples. There is in Sudan, there was some conflict. Look at Congo. Those are some two examples, but you really say Ukraine. Just explain us how in Africa there is security much than those countries abroad.
Because Russia, the country that's near the Russia, that all country include this war. There's some information from outside say the war in the Russia that can cause many effects on the East. For example, lose many people that can help the East to grow, lose infrastructure. In Africa, not more war. The war between members of family. But remember that the outside of our Africa, that fighting between two countries, there can cause many effects. Do you understand?
Thank you. My name is Sam. I'm proposer side. I can tell you some examples like in Syria, in Haiti, and the war that Islamic State attack in the America and shoot out in their buildings.
Good morning. My name is Anthony. I'm not sure that living in Africa is better than living abroad, because in Africa they haven't a good education. Many children doesn't have a possibility to go to school, and they haven't a good marks of their, how can I say, in African children doesn't go to school because of school fees. In Africa, the technology in Africa is not developed. They haven't many industry. They haven't high technology. Is that mean I can see within Africa?
For example, in Rwanda, our government have many ways just can using that every children attend to school. For example, we breed niners. There's someone who don't have the enough money to pay boarding school, just can attend in the niners. We have a primary, no one can pay, just can study for free, no money. Do you understand? If you have money, just can attend in the private school. In Africa, we have many ways just can using that every children attend to school. Thank you.
Okay, if you say that, but we aren't saying in Rwanda, we are saying in the African countries. If you are saying Rwanda, how can you know if the other countries they have possibility to pay school fees? But if you're hearing news, you can know if what you say is correct. Thank you.
I am first speaker. My name is Shimeke Maombe. I am first speaker, and we are on the position side. So our point is like that, benefit of being abroad. First point is that security. First point is security. Another is opportunities of education, good climate. Another is strong currents. better career prosperity, and higher income. Thank you.
Thank you for all. My name is Donatien Shimimana. About that topic, he has says, Africa is the best. Living in Africa is better than living abroad, because in Africa they have many things we invest to provide the richness, like a good condition for working, like a good employment has many, because they are real material using in to produce another thing. That is the thing refer with that topic.
How the climate of other continent is good than in Africa, where they coming back in the summer in Africa. Why? Is it good? If it's good, they did not come in summer season.
My name of Ajaneza Kevin. I'm the first speaker of the opposition side. First of all, the American and the European people, they come in Rwanda because of they want to know the Rwanda, how they work, how they live. They come in Rwanda because of tourism. They come to see the natural feature of Rwanda, not of bad climate. They have good climate. After them, they have good climate. Because when they don't have good climate, they come in Rwanda to live forever, not to live it. Because they come in Rwanda in order to know their culture, not to because of their bad climate. Thank you.
Because of we have a good climate that can attract the tourists. You know, we have national park, we have different river that can attract tourists. Good history. This is the reason why that the some peoples come in Africa.
That hated between Africans. Africans know that they hate each other. They don't love each other. It's why some abroad people they come in African countries to know what caused them that hate between them. They come in Africa to sometimes to connect them. They try to connect them to help them to make some relationship between, not because of that good climate. Also, we know that they have a good climate. They have developed tourism than Africa.
Did you study history of Europe? Did you know the First World War and the Second War? Some African countries, it is few, they participated in that war. If Africa have bad history, they are the one who caused that war, but they have good history. That's why the European country, they have that bad history. I can add some examples of the war that happened, the history of the war that caused by the other continents, like Crimean War, like Eastern Question, like French Revolution, American Revolution. But if we see in the past of our continent, they are not more what they caused. That's why.
On what you're really just saying, that people in abroad that just come in to look for some history in Africa in the form of tourists. But you can't just tell me there is a large amount of people who just book their flight to go to look where Jesus was born. And there's, and how can you just tell us that people abroad just come in Africa because of good tourists? And what can you add on? That there's many numbers of people. They're just every year, can't just a million of people just book their flight to go to Jerusalem where Jesus was born. So is it that something that can attract people in Africa just to go that history? I just want you to add something on, just explain me
Also, the Africans have some division between them, where one kingdom attack another. Now, and also, Europeans, like explorers, missionaries, they come in Africa because of their benefit. They don't come because of their foolish. They have clear mind. You know, Africans, they come in Rwanda like to take the raw materials of Rwanda to use them in their industries. So if they are not to have a clear mind, they don't come in Rwanda or other Africans like Congo, like another countries, they come in Rwanda to take the raw materials, to teach them something that will help them, but they refuse to use that is some education that they give to them. They come in Rwanda, they teach them education, they bring them some industries. In Africa, they don't have industries. Third countries, they get employment easily. We know that in that countries, to get employment is more easy compared to Rwanda and the other African countries, where many people are employed. Some of them are self-employed and others are employed, self-employed and paid-employed. Other strong currencies, we know that the currencies of that countries are strong compared to the way like dollars. Dollars are popular currencies, where many countries, even abroad countries, use that currencies. Another beautiful higher education. We know that many people in Africa, they ask for scholarship to study abroad. Why, if living in Africa is better than living abroad, why many people leave Africa to go to study abroad? Another higher salary. We know that in abroad countries, many people get salaries compared to the hours they work. They get salary easily compared to Africa. Another, they get higher income because they get higher income. Many people work many hours in order for them to get higher income.
The higher income you get, the higher expenses you spend. Are you agree with me? But I can add more. African culture is the best compared to the other continent. I can give you an example of Visit Rwanda. You know, Visit Rwanda, they sponsor like two teams, Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain. I can give you another example, the naming gorilla baby. Kwita izina abana b'ingagi. There is no other country in the other continent, especially Africa, that has gorilla.
As you know, African continent has many mineral resources, but who is discover that mineral resources? It is people living abroad. And also let we see in education. Many students study in Africa, study hard in order to get scholarship to go in abroad. Yes?
Okay. Education in Africa is very easy. Other borders is very expensive. The poor people are not allowed to attend to school.
You know that in Rwanda there are some schools which are expensive more than others. Example, the like Riviera, we know it's expensive. Everyone cannot have ability to study there because it's expensive. So why you said that there are the public schools? That public school, they don't have enough technology. They don't have enough teachers that have enough skills. Many people, they lose their job because they studied in that schools. Many people, they lose the ability to increase their skills because of their studies. But they study people who have ability or possibility to study in that school, like Riviera or other country schools, they get high knowledge. And we know that schools are coming from the abroad school, if public school are good, why many people who have studied in Riviera or other country schools, they get good job than others who study in public schools?
To answer, I'm telling you that our government have many ways just can using in order to developing our country according to the ability the people have. Riviera, when you have more money, just you can attend. When you don't have money, just you can attend the public school. I'm telling you that, for example, you say that the teachers in the public school no skills have. Are you sure? You are not sure. Because of that allow the people, the teacher to teach in the class, have certificate. You finish to study in the secondary, have more marks. Not always they take some people can take like a lot, they come and teach in the class. Do you understand? Who have certificate just allowed to teach in classroom?
Invited them to come and teach in our country. Every sector, they need to recruit other workers from the different country. Like America. America is the biggest country. Really, it is the biggest, but it was governed, Barack Obama, he was born in Kenya. Why did you lead the country that are big in the world? Is the same as that I said. It's because everyone needs the support from the others.
Obama have been president of America because they get nationality. So what? If they living in Africa is better than living abroad, why many Africa leave the Africa and go to stay in the abroad?
They go in the other country is the reason why in our country we have some European, some Asian country that come in our Africa. I can give you an example of the supermarket down there.
Some tycoons who live in America, they're Africans. Tell me the tycoon who live in Africa, who is not in Africa. But we know that many Kanye West, they are African, but they leave Africa to live there. Because of they have higher technology, they are good than Africa. You know that.
If America is good, why can't you join that America?
Maybe I will go there. I will go there. Is why I'm here. I'm studying English in order for me to go there.
Here in Rwanda, there is some people who run business. But what I can tell, those people who live abroad, America, Europe, who come here, they came in Rwanda just to invest. You know, but you people from Africa, you really just go there to look for money, to look for life. That's the difference. Those ones come to invest.
That they go in the America, they come in Africa to invest. But also Africans, when they go in the America and get the money, they invest because they did not come back. If they cannot invest if they cannot have money, they can coming back. But they go there and get the money and invest in different business.
To love their continent. Why they go there to live there forever and they don't come back? Because if if they like Africa, they can come back to invest in their countries, to develop their countries, but they don't come. They don't come. We know many companies in Rwanda who are developed. Their investors are foreigners, but they are brothers. But we know that the people who invest in that country, they born there. They don't born in Africa because Africa. We know that Africa is cheap. It's cheap because many investors of Africans are coming from the Europeans, Americans. So the countries of Europeans are strong because the many African countries they use dollars. Why if their money are strong like that? Why they don't use? You know, in Congo they use dollars. In many countries, many African countries, they use dollars. Why they use dollars that are not their currencies? We know that the dollars are for Americans.
It's not cheap. They cannot accept to go in the different parts. That's
raw materials. When they are not there, there cannot be the conflict between people of Congo. Another, we know that raw materials are transformed the way they are by using the technology which came from the abroad countries.
Resources, no industry. Do you understand? You tell me that other borders have an industry. Without resources, no industry. The source of resources from Africa. So the best way, in order the industry complete their objective, need the resources from Africa. Can you explain this? How can industry that can improve without resources? Resources come from in Africa. We have resources and industry. Do you understand? But the bond does not have resources. But here we have both resources and industry.
Okay, some mountains like Everest are found there in that countries, in that continent, European continent. So why are you telling me that they don't have raw materials? And we know that in Switzerland they have the most country which have the developed tourism. That tourism cannot exist when they don't have raw materials or natural resources. But they have the raw materials which are natural, which they contain raw materials. That mountain, they contain raw materials. How? When you go there, you find some raw material that they use in their industries. They have some trees, okay, so like Amazon, they found in Brazil, in America. And you know that there are many raw materials that they use in their industries to get some finished product. They know that they use that raw materials which are coming from Amazon.
Say that Amazon, they have natural resources that can use in their industries, but it is not enough yet to our African.
I was answering you that your colleague said that they don't have raw materials. I was asking you by giving you an example that Amazon, they are few, but they are. And you know that enough, and in Africa, they don't have enough food, they don't have enough industries. We know many, in a higher percentage of raw materials of African, they go abroad. When they're abroad, they don't take the raw materials of African. Their raw materials can be more than what they are needed, and that can be wasted in order to use it in their industries. When the industries of abroad are not exist, the raw materials of Africans can be misused.
You know that many people in European people become in Africa to show you how to use that natural resources. You know that many people becomes in European to come for such that natural resources and raw material, because if you can't come in Africa, you can't know how to use that natural resources and raw materials.
Why don't you produce and develop for your own without the help of those European countries? For example, every year, those countries that you are saying from abroad, they give African country loan and some facilities of money. So how, if you are really you really have much raw material, why can't you produce and live on your own without the help of those European country and those American country?
Let me ask a question. Why many people living in Africa try to apply green card?
Abroad is good. And you ask the question, why African people go in the American? Let me answer you. The reason why is the reason why the American come back in Africa. How?
How they can come back to Africa?
I tell
In
you.
which way?
In which way? They can come in Africa to invest their money in different sector. They come in Africa for searching for land for using in their activity and so many.
To get such good opportunities of education. You know that in Africa they are still low, they are still on low level in education. Many people apply to get good education in local countries.
The African media industry, they come from abroad. And the other, some materials or some resources that they use to form like in Masora we have the industry of car. They use the different machines and the pieces of the car to join them in order to form a car. When they don't have that piece of the car, which came from the abroad countries, that car that cannot exist. I'm not talking with you. Living abroad is better than living in Africa.
Living in Africa is better than living in the abroad. Lack of food, lack of enough land, and other things. But in Africa, we are enough for everything. This is the reason that can cause the bonder come in Africa. Have industry but not enough resources have. Have a good house but not good condition by climate. Sometimes take so long a period for the period of ice, ice. But in Africa, we have a good climate. Tomorrow is cold, other day is hot. Living in Africa is better than other countries out of Africa. To live in Africa is very easy. According to the financial money, you say other country using dollars, blah, blah, blah. But in Africa, we use the money for everyone able to getting the money. The life in Africa is very, very easy. This is the reason why the other country come in Africa. Have industry, but can cause many, many problems according to their air, other things that can affecting our climate, affecting their climate. Do you understand? We have a good condition. In Africa, we have enough land. Not only this, we have good people who are skilled in the different way. We have a good culture. We give everyone welcome to come in our country. Without, for example, in Rwanda, I think no visa, just everyone access to come in our country. It means we have the country have a security. Do you understand? According to this, without good climate, no life. Do you understand? Sometimes we have dollars. Can you eat dollars? But if you have resources, just can go and take banana and eat. But when you have only money, nothing can you do.
The African have a good climate. Why it's mostly affected by famine compared to the abroad countries?
You are considering to the family, so I understand. But you are enough to some resources. So basic need. So if you have basic need, you have all. Do you understand? If you have basic need, you know basic need, air, food, security.
Why many children, younger children, are affected by kwashiorkor, rickets, and other diseases which are caused by unbalanced diet?
So, I think we have many different ways just using to handling this problem. We have the hospital, we have to give the training about some different people live in our Africa. Training how can prepare good food and just can avoiding this disease.
Opposing team, the floor is yours. And everybody is involved, everybody is inclusive in the group. I can see some of you, they're not having ideas, they're not having opinions. Why? Your point, support your group.
Yes. Thank you. My name is Marceline. I support that living abroad is better than living in Africa. The reason why, firstly, in education. Education in Africa is not like education in other continents abroad. Because of when people leave Africa and come out to study in other countries out Africa, when they came back, they be the chief, they be the big person in the company, the enterprise. Because of education, they get there. Secondly, I support that because of work. You know, in Africa, when you study, in Africa we study hardly, but after studying, you miss work. Person who have the money to create the work for others, they give work only to their families member and their friends. They don't watching for the knowledge, but they watching for the family members or friends. Thank you.
In Africa, until the outside for Africa to come in study in Africa.
My point about the solidarity, the humanity skills. Sometimes when you go to Europe, many people, there is no family member there. But in Africa, for example, when we have to celebrate any party or any wedding, like wedding, party, birthday, some members of family come in his room to celebrate them. But there, don't care. The white people is it's considered that it's losing the time. But for there in Europe, she focused about the work only, but humanity nothing. About celebrate any party, nothing. That's the causes. But in Africa, there's many things that is very good about family, culture, about tourism. When tourism come to visit in this country, it's just to visit. That's solidarity. It's the town, is very cleaner, but there is very dirty. There is dirty. When he drank some juice, there's no way who can put that. But in our countries, it's better. I thought Africa is better than
African country, you are focusing on Rwanda, not all of country. Then they say that the emotion is talk about is living in Africa better than living abroad. It's not about living in Rwanda is better than living abroad. You are focusing on Rwanda only, but you know that the many countries of Africa have been affected by diseases which causes by dirty, and that percentage is higher than the percentage of the children or other people affected by that in abroad. We know that the percentage of African children who are affected by diseases caused by dirty is higher compared to compared to the abroad countries. According to me, it's like 90% of children are affected by disease which causes by that, and you know that that countries which are abroad are not affected by that disease that caused by dirty. Like cholera, the origin of cholera is Africa. The origin of diarrhea is Africa. Why many people they say that the Africa they're affected by that disease is because of that?
Say according to you. According to you, you are not sure. I understand. For each percentage. According to you. But you don't know. You are not sure, I see. You focus on the Rwanda. This is the example can give you.
So at any time, if you have any point of support or opposition, you understand, make sure you have the micro and the microphone is well heard. Any point of support?
But I just want to come on to the question, what you are saying. You are saying that in European countries, they're just focusing on time. And how is it time can be in a disadvantage? And even here in Africa, they just tell us that time is money. And you're saying that, so are you just saying that in Africa, people are not really just focusing on time? Even though, even here in Africa, even a kid who just start to play, they just tell him, you know, time is money. Whatever you do, whatever you're doing in life, just focus on time. So just tell me briefly how time can be an disadvantage.
I said that when you go there in Europe, you have a job, for example, there. There's no time you don't think about anything but work only. But in Africa, both. You go to work and you think about the family members. When some in your family there is a problem, after working you go to see there. There's no solidarity about humanity. I think that yes.
Are you saying that people there, they don't take care of their families? They live like
yes. You don't care.
They're using time compared with money. Like in Africa, we're considering the life living. African, they are working, then think how to live. And outside, they work every time. Don't have time to relax, to make a good life.
Reason why they don't have time to relax is it because they have jobs. In Africa, you don't know how to use money and time. In Europe, we know how time is it. When you are going slowly, time is going quickly, you know. But in Europe, we use our mind. We use our mind to think, to search, to know which can give us good health. But in Africa, you see it, but you need the European people to come to invest you in what you have because you don't know how to use it.
To live another country. Remember this. Only focus on your job without relax. If you work, rest. You know the reason why we have a beach? Remember someone who built the hotel. When no one getting rest, already hotel failed. Do you understand? So, my colleagues just focus to the relationship between among of members in Africa. Because we have a good relationship, that can help to do another things.
Yes.
We got to communicate.
No,
We got another things. Can you tell me, just can you do?
First of all, can I ask you, can you tell me how you know the European people that they cannot relax, they cannot take time to rest?
Yeah, not rest. If just someone wants to rest, leave another country, come in Africa because we have many. We have a special beach, just come to rest. Other country, nowhere, just can go to relax. Do you remember this?
Let me tell you. You're saying those you're reversing things. Here in Africa, that's where we see people. They're just focusing on your work. They don't take care of their children. Let me give you an example. Here, the parents just go to work every day. They take their children are home with their maids, and they may start to teach those children some characters or some how can I say it? They teach them some bad behaviors, right? Some bad behaviors. While in those countries, the parents, even if they work, they give their time to their children. Here in Rwanda, let me give you an example. Like here in Africa, you can't just find like a parent. Let me say, here in Africa, because of not giving the parent, they do not give their children the time. When the children are like home, when they are watching TVs, and when they hear their parent, like their father come, they run. I even think you know those examples. But there, the parents just keep close with their children. A mother just tell when the children is going to sleep, he takes a novel, he reads some novel, and the children go sleep. But you can find those things here in Rwanda. Even if here in Africa, even if it can be, it's from few people. Even though those people were living, they just get those behaviors when they are living abroad.
It was really interesting. Me personally, I've liked it so much. And after all of those questions and point of view, it's time to turn back to the teams for their final speeches, just in a summative way. We start with the proposition team.
Sean said that living in Africa is better than living the bond. I'm agree with this motion according to these things. In Africa, we have a good climate, good security, peace, and good health. We have enough resources and good culture.
Saying that living abroad is better than living in Africa because of technology, to gain employment easily, higher quality of the education, security, development of industries, beautiful and diverse climates, better career and prospect.
Although they're great debate, so I guess everyone has really enjoyed this. For me, as I was saying, I may rate it very interesting, and as I was excited before, I can see that you are good debaters for one side to another. And this time, I'm going to give an opportunity, of course, of time to our judges. And this one will be telling some other, give us some other information about maybe how we're going to finalize this event. And there will be another part of the speech. Maybe he will have that time of telling you about the prizes. Maybe for some of you, it's a big surprise, right? It's a surprise for you. He has that power and that opportunity of telling you everything, right? Okay. For the last time, join your hands together to give a round of applause our last speaker.
Hello, America. Hello, Africa. Last time, just a few months ago, the Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris, came in Ghana and was very happy to get the black people there. So he said, hello, Ghana. And that's why I started with saying this. But first of all, I wish you may clap for yourselves first. Yes. Yeah, when something is positive, you have to applaud. Yeah, it's amazing to see you just holding this motion together and in a perfect manner. I appreciate. So, the Americans, you have shown us how much Washington is ready, what it has. And Africa, Addis Ababa, Kigali, and everywhere else, we have seen how much mineralized you are. This is a very important thing. And we recognize everybody's contribution in this session. Me and judges are going to have our own discussion on this point. And we are going to be back just in a minute to tell you what you have found through your debate. So for this, I said, first of all, clap for yourselves, because I have seen that this is a production. This is decency. To feel that everybody with the heart of commitment, hard working, and being so bravery, you can achieve a big production. With this time, I would like to appreciate you guys. It's my dream to see everybody advancing when you're speaking. And it's what the company is always dreaming. And it's why we are having always the sleepless nights thinking on the points that can take you on another linguistic step. This is the fact that you are upstairs. I would like to even invite one among you here. So allow me to use this girl. Can you stand up, please? Can you stand up and come closer? This one, and you too, you can come, no problem. You can come. Ladies first. We are very happy. This is a production. And all of you are the facts that everything is possible with Action College. Action College is a garden and a root of where you can get what you linguistically deserve. I may ask her little questions, and she can respond to give you the fact of what I'm saying. So what were your weaknesses in language before, especially in English, before you get here at Action College?
Thank you. Before I had no some word to speak in English.
Yes, vocabulary.
But yes, But now I try to speak some things
Yes.
in English.
Yes.
I can introduce myself. I can answer some questions.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, did you know how to conjugate the verbs? Like it was before. Sometimes the conjugation, it's not only in English, otherwhere else, it can be very difficult. So.
And now I think I can try some verbs.
Some verbs you can conjugate them.
Yes.
And vocabularies.
Yes.
Yes. The next again is about the pronunciation. How do you feel to be in the climate of English? I mean, how do you feel when you are speaking English, comparing it to how you were before?
Before I mean now I can speak English, but before I can't.
You could not.
I could not speak
Yes.
English.
So now, do you have the hope that you will even get on even another level than this with this company?
Repeat, please.
Yes, I ask you through what you have experienced, all of those ones. Now, before you couldn't speak, you couldn't conjugate, you hadn't enough words. Is there any hope that you can say that maybe tomorrow you will even get on a bigger step?
Yes, I believe if I continue to study and make research, I can be a good English speaker.
So what do you suggest, or what is your advice for the people that sometimes you think that maybe someone who didn't study language before cannot study it and get it or know it, or some people that used to say maybe to study is not my thing. You have seen that it's not the matter of the age, it's not the matter of the past experience, it's a matter of the school, it's a matter of the teacher. So what is your, what can you tell to the people that say that they can't study because it's not their age or they didn't study before?
Yes, I can tell them they have to try, because before me too, I thought I cannot speak English because English is very, very difficult. The pronunciation is complicated, but now I see when you want to do something, you can be able to do that.
So how did Action College help you to solve those challenges, vocabularies, tenses, what and what?
Yes, for sure, I have now something who Action College gives me. I'm happy because now I'm here and I speak something in English. It's a big things.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Clap for this guy. Yes, this is the fact that we can, through hardships, through what and what, but this is possible. It's your time. It's your time, it's your time, it's your time. Whether you are there and there, don't just be discouraged by your academic background, your age, your what. Actually, college will be there to solve it. And you know that we can assume that this girl is in the second class of Action College. And later on, if she keeps this on way, she can get in an advanced class. And she's going to be a fruitful person for herself and for our country and for Africa and for the world in the future. You understand? Yes. So, actually, we are very happy for your success because this is our priority and skills first. So now, allow me to take my jury out with me and be back and wait for our time because something. So we have not started yet. Okay? This was like an answer. You are going to get a time.
Conversation as a jury, of course, it's necessary. They be back with the result from what you've done. And in my previous speech, I've mentioned that there will be another stage of giving prizes. Of course, it's a surprise. But the company, the institute has thought of that. And me personally, I can also be standing here to encourage if each and everyone, in particular this lady, really it's not easy to be starting from zero and getting to a very interesting level at the one on which you are. It's not easy. So me personally, I may say that English is not that difficult language as people have, what do we say? It's a myth, simply. It's a myth, you understand. Even you may approach foreigners who are spending time in Rwanda. Sometimes they come here to learn Kinyarwanda. They can share with you the experience of how Kinyarwanda is hard to learn it. You understand? I had a student who had that idea of learning Kinyarwanda, and of course they get to good level in Kinyarwanda, it's okay. But if you try to compare Kinyarwanda and English, you find English always easy.
To study here, I was not know any English, but I thank all teachers. But now I told you now I can try to speak English. Thank you.
Gana action, niba ushaka kwiga indimi, gana action.